A great way to be more articulate is to really study language and understand the different ways to deliver the same message through the use of language, and understand inclusive language and exclusive language, understand enrolling language, and just, huh? So, for example, what a lot of people do is when they use linguistically, they talk a lot with I. You know, I did this, I do that, I do that, I'm a speaker. And if you think inclusive language, it's we, it's us, it's come on team, and just very simple things like that, which enroll the audience and pull you in to want to be a part of. You know, again, narration versus being present, first person storytelling, right? If I'm not narrating the story, but I'm present to the story and I'm really communicating as if in the moment, that's more inclusive. So all these things, again, one of my mentors said, you've got to find 10 ways to explain one thing as a speaker. And the more you're able to do it, a bit like rapper, right? If rappers are able to come to the same point, like Eminem studied the dictionary to expand his vocabulary for his ability to rap. It's very similar for speakers. You know, we've got to find the different ways to enter people's modality of the world. Language is a powerful thing, non-verbal and verbal, but verbal, you've got to find the different ways of doing that. Emotive language, data language, inclusive language, enrolling language. But there are times to use exclusive language if you want to shake people, if you want to really challenge their paradigm. That's when you're excluding the audience from it. It's like, a lot of people can use this right or wrong, but it's like, well, you'll never be like me unless, you know, you won't achieve this unless you're wanting, but you're not getting. You know, it's easy to go from crap, where most of you are, to good, but none of you were going to reach excellent. I mean, those are extreme ways of using it, but it's like, whoa, wait a minute. He's pulling away here. She's pulling away. It has the impact. Yeah. And when it comes to charisma, this is a belief, and I think also being proven, you can develop charisma. And part of developing charisma is being masterful in your craft. If you think about it, a lot of people who are charismatic is because they're so really good at what they do that they just pour energy, they pour out presence. And a lot of them weren't natural at it. Again, I see a lot of speakers that we train, a lot of people we work with. Jose and I interview them on the podcast, which is why we're on this together. And a lot of them aren't naturally charismatic, but what they've done is they work really hard at their craft. And you get to that kind of tipping point where you're so good that you're in your flow and it comes out of you. I think a lot of people, what they do is they have that false charisma, which is like they're trying to be like, or, you know, in NLP terms, they're modeling, but they're not owning. And therefore it's clunky, it's inauthentic, the energy is disconnected. But charisma can be developed, and again, slowly, you work on bit by bit, you become a great storyteller. If you're a great storyteller and you're going to emotively move me, you're going to pull me in, you're going to have charisma. You're going to have something beyond that that's really attractive. And I think for me, it can definitely be taught. It's something you can develop. It's an inside out job though. I can guide you to run a marathon, but I can't run it for you. You can only run a marathon by getting those legs out running. It's the same with charisma. And a lot of times the reason people don't develop the charisma to the potential they can or should is because they get hit with rejection, or they bomb and it doesn't quite work out, and it deflates their kind of charisma drive. And so they pull back to where it's safe. But I believe, and I've seen this time and time again, everybody can be charismatic with the right guidance.